Well, it's the best treasure I've gotten this year, so why not? I absolutely love the Uncharted series by NaughtyDog. They have pretty much everything I want in a game. An interesting story, lovable characters, comedy, varied gameplay, cinematic feeling which helps the story, and amazing soundtracks. The first game is the only one I haven't finished, sadly, but what I can say from having played halfway through it is that it's good. The sequel was amazing, improving on everything. The third installment didn't do anything new, but still was great as it didn't do anything negative either. And the fourth one, A Thief's End, is my favorite of the bunch. There's a lot to talk about here, and I'm really excited to start the review, but I just need to get something out of my system first. Buy the game! This is a must-buy for the PS4, definitely, if you've played the previous game in the franchise. But anyway, on to the review. It starts off by showing you some of Drake's earlier experiences, on how things was at the orphanage, and a small adventure he had with his older brother, Sam Drake. This is really smart as it introduces you to this new character that you will be throughout the entirety of the game, and make you feel sympathy for the both of them. The game then jumps several years into the future, after the third game, and shows us our main hero, Nathan Drake, having a bit of a midlife crisis. The thing is, Elena, his wife, and he has promised each other that they will no longer go on these dangerous adventures, and it's easy to see that Drakes have some problems with this. Looking at old memorabilia, shooting a soft gun in the attic, and being unable to follow a simple conversation with his wife.
Ah!
What?
Where are you?
I'm in here, being stabbed with a fork.
Oh, really?
What? Just keep going. It was interesting.
However, Sam returns and tells his brother that if he can't find the hidden pirate treasure of Henry Avery in less than 3 months, a drug lord will kill him. So the brothers and Sully start searching for the Red X, while they have an entire army after them, called Shoreline. The game also has this cinematic intro, which shows all of Nathan's previous adventures, and it doesn't stop there. The entire game keeps reminding the main character of what he has done in the past, which strengthens Drake's obsession with going all Indiana Jones and the hatred from this game's villain, whom I will say is the best so far in the series. So this time the story is more personal than ever, having your brother's life on the line. But while the game keeps your interest, in the story throughout the entirety of the experience, I am a bit annoyed that Nathan didn't bring Elena with him, or that he lied to her. I mean, come on! After everything they've been through, I would expect that these two characters would come to understand each other at this point. Plus, it's a nitpick, and another nitpick is that there are some cliches here and there, some stuff that you've even seen in the previous Uncharted games. I'm not gonna say it directly because they're kind of spoilerish, but there are a couple of cliches here that you kind of do have to shrug off. But those are nitpicks. Plus, the thing with Elena does help Nathan go through a character development even in the fourth game of the franchise. Plus, speaking of the franchise as a whole, this game definitely shows that Nathan Drake is the most lucky and unlucky character in all of video games because of all the insane action set pieces. I also want to say, as a fanboy, that the final boss, it's cinematic, a great character, the sound and design of everything, amazing. The gameplay is also that, amazing. They have improved on it, making the climbing feel better than ever. They have added new features such as driving a car and a boat, sneaking in tall grass so that you can suddenly take down your enemies, using a grappling hook to climb to several places and go all over the place. The puzzles are great, as the game does balance between hardcore action and slow-paced puzzle solving, though it feels like they have stripped off a bit on the hand-to-hand combat from the previous games. If memory serves right, you had a counter button that allowed you to dodge and counter an attack, where here you need to roll away from the punches. I guess they did this so that the CQC wouldn't be too easy, as it wasn't that difficult in the previous game, but they should have at least put something else there. So a bit disappointed on that front. The animations, however, are much better here, as you can almost feel the punches themselves by how good they are. And the same can be said about the gunplay. Rolling around from cover to cover, using a gun and a bigger weapon like a machine gun or a rocket launcher. You can't choose your weaponry before a chapter, but you can, like previously, take the weapons from your enemies, which can range from bad to good. I found myself using the regular handgun and the AK-47 almost throughout the entire playthrough. It wasn't until later chapters where I started changing weaponry, mostly because you start to meet these bullet spongy enemies. And you know, it takes several clips with the regular with the weaker weapons to kill them. So I did start finding the golden revolver or the explosive weapons to get them down. But when shooting is optional, I did prefer to go sneaking around and break people's necks. I just found that more enjoyable, in my honest opinion. I did mention earlier the puzzle solving, and I really like it here. Though they feel a bit easier than before. Maybe I've just gotten better at doing them. But I never found myself looking at Drake's journal as much as the previous installments. And the game will sometimes help you before you even make a mistake.
Nathan.
You sure you got this?
I was.
But the puzzles themselves are nice to look at, and listening to the characters bickering is always something to look forward to in this series. The collectibles are also here like the previous games. Finding old treasury, which you can read up on the information on. I didn't really look for them, or I didn't really prioritize in finding them, but when seeing one in the distance, I did try to get it. Uncharted 4 does have an online multiplayer component, though it shouldn't be the main reason of buying the game, obviously. It has several modes: Team Deathmatch, Command, Plunder, and Ranked Team Deathmatch. You have loadouts for your weapons, you can customize what you want to have with you, etc., but you have to level up to get some of the weaponry. The mode entertained me, but it didn't really keep my interest for that long, and I don't know, it just felt like something tacked on, just like it felt like in the previous installments. That's just what I got out of it. If you want to know more about the online, I highly recommend finding another review, because I'm not going to go that in depth into it, but it's not just shooting. You'll have special abilities like summoning the El Dorado statue that can curse the other team, or that you can get a lantern that will make you faster and be able to teleport shortly around. So it's interesting like that. What is worth noting is that the online is 60 frames per second, while the single player is 30, though I never got any dips throughout my story playthrough. I think it may have happened once or twice, but it happened so fast I really didn't care about it. The story is also roughly around 14 hours, I played on normal difficulty, and I died mostly because of misjudging a jump, as the grappling hook took a few tries to get used to. Though I never felt like I died because of something cheap, everything was on me all the time. And with nice checkpoints, you won't fly more than 10 minutes back. So the story is fantastic, the gameplay is great, the music I listened to on Spotify, thank you Henry Jackman, and the multiplayer is smooth, but it didn't hold my interest for that long. There's still one thing I need to talk about: how it looks. I don't really like to focus so much on how a game, is at the graphical aspect, but look at this! Look at the hair! Look at the hair! And not even that, the facial animations. Just looking at their faces, I can see all of the conflicting emotions that soothe their souls. Look at his shirt! As for how much I shout out for how good this game looks, there again is a small nitpick. Throughout the entire game, I did notice that some textures need some time to load here and there, usually when it went from a gameplay to a cutscene, or when exiting the journal. It did take less than a second to load them, but it was still noticeable. Uncharted 4 is exactly what it should be. A transition to next gen of a fantastic franchise. This is actually my favorite of the series now, as the story and the characters are 100%, the gameplay is so varied, the visuals looks fantastic, and the final boss... I'm a boss lover, not a boss fighter. Uncharted 4 gets a 9 out of 10. It's pretty close to a perfect in my book. The only thing holding it back is the story cliches, though it didn't hurt the overall experience of the story. The bullet sponge enemies, I mostly hate the shotgun ones. The multiplayer thing that felt just tacked on like the previous games had. And some textures loading that was noticeable and a bit annoying when the game looks so beautiful as it does. But this is definitely a game I will come back to just to play through the story. But anyway, I'm KingJGrim, or the King Games, whatever you prefer, and I'll see you guys next time. I highly recommend this game, as you can understand from this video, and please share this video with your friends if you think that they might enjoy it for the reviewing aspect or for me. Now, if you want to see more of me, you can look at some of the videos to the right there. I highly recommend the In the Mind of Kirby video that I made, an analysis of Kirby's psyche. Yes, he actually does have some character development. Anyway, I'm KingJGrim, or the King Games, whatever you prefer. There's a Twitter account you can follow, and I'll see you guys next time.